Putting the information from the previous panels together, we have touched upon the fact that the last 8 of the Aseret DIBROT were transmitted to the Bnei Yisrael directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. However, all the nation heard were the vibrations of the call of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the voice. They lacked in the understanding of the information that God was conveying. It was only later that Moshe retransmitted the information to the nation, at which point in time they internalized the content of the 8 Dibrot. In contrast, the first 2 Dibrot, they heard the call and also were able to internalize the information contained in those 2 commandments. These 2 commandments were given to the nation as a matana, which means the Kedusha level was not in direct proportion to the efforts of the recipients, the Bnei Israel. And in those 2 commandments, HaKadosh Baruch Hu provided the nation with the ability to have emunah, the belief in a God to the exclusion of all other forces. The question was raised as to what was accomplished in merely hearing the sound vibrations, the call of the remaining 8 Dibrot, to which the Rebbe suggested that there was also a matana component, that in hearing the call of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this gave the nation the strength, the ability to observe mitzvot at the level of Kabbalat Ol, even in situations where the human brain would find these mitzvot counterintuitive to normal living conditions. The Kabbalat Ol component of the last 8 Dibrot became the prototype for all 611 of the Tariag mitzvot. This was read into the statement in Dvarim 33:4 that Torah tziva lanu Moshe. The word Torah is treated as a gematria. The gematria was equal to 611. 611 of the Tariag mitzvot were transmitted to the nation by Moshe Rabbeinu. So what we have is the entire Aseret HaDibrot reflecting the full set of Tariag mitzvot. And footnote 66 provides us with a source for this assertion. And that source is a statement attributed to Rabbi Sadia Gaon, the Rasag, and the footnote goes on to inform us that this concept is reflected in a commentary of Rashi to Shmot 24:12. The sequence of events regarding Matan Torah are divided between 2 segments of Chumash. One segment in Shmot 20, the other in Shmot 24. Shmot 20 and 24 bracket a large body of lore that make up Parashat Mishpatim. In Pasuk Yubet we are told that Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, Alei Elai, come up to me, Hahara, into the mountain, referring obviously to Har Sinai, V'heyeh shaman, be there, Ve'etne lecha, there I shall give you the following, Et luchat ha'evan, the tablets of stone, containing the written format of the Aseret HaDibrot, V'ha-Torah, and the Torah, V'ha-Mitzvah, and the commandment, Asher katavti, that I have written, Lahorotam, to instruct them. From the very outset, this pasuk is somewhat problematic, in that while the first stanza as to what Moshe was to receive, the Luchat HaEvin, is quite understandable, the second stanza, V'ha-Torah v'ha-Mitzvah asher katavti lahorotam, begs for an explanation. Rashi comments on the implied question under a rather lengthy heading of Et Luchat HaEvin v'ha-Torah v'ha-Mitzvah asher katavti lahorotam. He writes that Kol Sheish Miot v'Shalosh Esrei Mitzvot, all the Tariag 613 mitzvot, Bichlal Aseret HaDibrot Hein, are included in the Aseret HaDibrot. And then Rashi goes on to write that Rabbeinu Sadia, that Rav Sadia Gaon, Pirush Ba'azharot Sheyasad, the Azharot were poems written by the Gaonim and the Rishonim, and in his Azharot, Rav Sadia Gaon explains L'chol dibur v'dibur mitzvot hatluyot bo, which specific mitzvot of the Tariag mitzvot are linked to which specific commandment of the Aseret HaDibrot. And as an interesting aside, and depending on how one counts the letters, there are approximately Tariag letters, 613 letters, that comprise the Aseret HaDibrot. This reinforces the link between the Aseret HaDibrot and the Tariag mitzvot. With this, we can now appreciate the earlier statement attributed to Sadia Gaon regarding the Goral, in which he states, Ha'over al ha-Goral, he who questions, undermines the validity of the Goral, is ka'over al Aseret HaDibrot, as if he undermined the validity of the Aseret HaDibrot, for which we asked what connection is there between the Goral and the Aseret DIBROT, a point that will be amplified in the next panel.